Hello everyone, it's Friday. Well, I hope it is when this video goes up. It could well be Saturday. And it's time for another Q&A session. Q&A 6. Now, as you all know, there only ever was supposed to be one of these, and each episode could be the last one we ever put up. But this time round, we had so many questions, it's an absolute record. So thank you for all the questions that come in. They are pretty varied, so we'll see if we can answer them. Now, this video generally, well, these videos in general go on for about 20 odd minutes, but we've got so many questions and I'm quite keen to cover them. It might go on a bit longer. So that's why this video might not be up to Saturday. But I'm rambling, so let's try and keep this back on track. Hooray! Right, let's start with Andy Sage. He asks, what's the best way to promote your channel? Well, he's relating to YouTube actually, which you probably already guessed. What's the best way to promote your YouTube channel? Make sure everyone sees it. I'd have to say, I haven't got the faintest idea. Now that's not me being evasive, I just don't know. Now Andy's just started his own channel, reviewing Commodore 64 games and other things like that. But it's a bit of a slow burn, Andy, I'd have to say. I mean, I've seen a lot of people just spam people's videos and such, and forums saying please come to my channel, subscribe please, without saying too much about their channel. And the ones I have checked, I click on it and there isn't too many videos there. So I'd say before any promoting, whatever form that takes, make sure you've got something for people to watch first of all. I don't know. Twitter, I always decided quite early on that I wasn't going to spam forums and so forth, so people get a bit annoyed about that. I don't know if that's a bit naive or the right thing to do. I just thought I'll keep making videos and gradually get better, trying to improve, so by the time hopefully people do see the videos, they'll actually stay. Is it working? Well, very slowly. So that doesn't really answer your question, Andy. I suppose if you had lots and lots of money, the quickest way would be to buy Google AdWords, and maybe on YouTube's own promotion thing where you pay money for adverts directing people to your channel, but that's not really my style. Okay, just keep going, and yeah, that isn't helpful at all, is it? But anyway, I ain't got too much to say about that. Next question from Hannibal Solo. You may have answered it before. I haven't. But what is the music / sound at the beginning of your videos? What's that from? Good question. Well, it's a mixture of a number of things overlaid on top of each other and sampled. Only plays for about 10 or 11 seconds before generally the start of each gaming vid, and these vids as well. But the first layer is just the wind. Yes, you can record the wind for free, you know. And I think that might have been sped up or slowed down ever so slightly. The next one is a sampled start sound from Gremlin Graphics. It used to play on Lotus 1, I think. But that's been sampled as well, on top of the wind. Then we have some laser from some film or something, which I really dropped the pitch on. Next is, I think this one is from a BBC sound effects library, just some cockerel. So yeah, it's getting multiple layered now. I'm a bit like Will.i.am. And the last one is me just saying yeah, and that's got a bit of reverb on it. Yeah. Well, a bit better than that really. So that's it. You remix stuff and overlay stuff on top of each other so it sounds half decent. I think I've gotten away with that. Next question from Jamie Williamson. We'll cover 2 from him, but he did ask loads, as did a lot of other people, but we'll mix and match it as we normally do. You've passed 400 subs. Boom. He doesn't say boom, I've just ad-libbed that bit. Where was the fanfare and celebration? Well, to be fair, Jamie asked that question before I did a thank you vid. Yes, I've recently passed 400 subs, which is great. But on other times where I've passed 300 and 200, I haven't put a video up straight away because the subs does tend to go up and down. Sometimes I'll put up let's say for sake of argument, I'll put up an Amiga video and I get a lot of people subscribing to it, and then they think I just do Amiga videos, which I don't. And then there might be a whole week or week and a half to the next Amiga one goes up and they lose interest and unsubscribe. So that sometimes happens. I try and cover a few systems, although not all of them, to keep it some sort of vein running through it. So yeah, if I'm just on 400, I wouldn't do the video straight away. I think you know what I'm getting at, aren't you? So I got to a bit above, then did the video. So thank you to all people that have subscribed again. Thank you very much. It does help me. Because sometimes, well, at the start in particular, you feel like you're recording for no one. But thank you. Thanks for commenting and all that sort of stuff. And thanks for these questions. Next question from Jamie. What games magazines did you read back in the day and why? Well, in the Spectrum days, which was my first experience of gaming, I didn't really have that much money. I think I might have been 8 or something like that. So I didn't really buy the Spectrum magazines that were around at the time, and I should have done because they had handy tips on programming about the games themselves. But it was only when I sort of like reaching my early teens I started buying magazines, and that was when the Amiga was strong. And I did buy quite often Amiga Power and Amiga Format, which looked pretty similar actually, although writers of both of those magazines will probably disagree. But what attracted me to it was games seemed pretty expensive at the time, and these quite often had cover discs on, which had like demos of the games and other utilities as well. So it was good to load them up in the disk drive and have a go at those. So that's what attracted me first of all, the free demo. Well, they weren't free because you're paying about £2 for the magazine. But the demos there, and also the articles as well. And there wasn't any internet then, of course, which makes me seem like a million years old. But magazines were the only way to know if a game was good or bad. So it's just the graphic artwork and the freebies. Right, Kingston LJ, who always asks questions all the time, which is great. We'll cover 2 from him. When you first used an Amiga, were you amazed by how good it was at music? If so, are there any games that stand out in having great music in them? Well, when I first loaded up an Amiga, my only other comparison was from the ZX Spectrum, because I never owned a Commodore 64, which is the natural evolution, Commodore 64 to Commodore Amiga. So I just went Spectrum to the Amiga, and I was absolutely blown away by the graphics and the music and everything. I was really, really impressed. When we bought the Amiga, the game that was come with was Shadow of the Beast 2. Now, if you're aware of that game, the music on that is absolutely fantastic and atmospheric, as a lot of the Psygnosis games were. So, I was absolutely flabbergasted. So all the games seemed to be good. Standouts was Xenon 2, which come a little bit later. But yeah, it really, really was impressive. Now, which film is the best, Terminator or RoboCop? Yeah, I hate these either-or questions, where I like them and hate them at the same time. This is a very tricky one, because I like Terminator, and I like RoboCop as well. Terminator, RoboCop. RoboCop, Terminator. Oh, if you push me, I'll have to say Terminator. It's because I'm an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, really. All those Terminator films are good, apart from Terminator Salvation, in my opinion. Terminator Genesis, okay. Yeah, we're going to have to go for Terminator. The reboot of RoboCop, a lot of people like that, I wasn't overly keen. Terminator. Retro Rambles, he also asks, how do you think your channel is going since you cut down to 3 videos a week, and are you happy with it? Well, on this channel I used to do 5 gaming videos a week, every week, and that was too much, that was killing me. So I had to do something, so I decided rather than end the channel, which I was debating, which I'm glad I didn't now, I thought I'd cut down to 3 gaming videos, because that'd be a bit easier on my time, because I work full time as well. Now, all that's happened, I think I'm a bit of a workaholic here, is I've started doing more of these type of videos, and putting more effort into the production. The Random Wednesday question seems to have picked up in tech quality as well. So basically, I haven't saved any time at all. I've tried to do some blundering videos as well, so I really have cut down to 4 if anything. But am I happy with it? I am happy with it, but yeah, it's a tricky one. I haven't got any more free time than I had before, but I think the quality of these have gone up, so I suppose that's a good thing. Okay. Oh, this is an important question from Retro Rambles from Lee. He says, pizza Indian or Chinese takeaway? This is the toughest question of them all, I think. I'll have to go for... There's nothing better than pizza, is there? especially a cold pizza in the morning when I've forgotten I bought the pizza. So we'll go pizza. I'm not a big Chinese fan actually, I think it's the oils, they make me ill. Indian's good, but pizza, perfecto. Now we have a question via Twitter. Yes, I'm on Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's Njenkin7Nick. This is from Mick Berry via Twitter. He said, what's your Q&A earlier? I think that was Q&A 5. Are you planning to expand into other systems in terms of gaming reviews? If so, which would you cover? Now, at the moment, time-wise, I'm really struggling to cover the systems I'm actually covering at the moment, which tend to be ZX Spectrum, Commodore Amiga, the Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 1 and the occasional PlayStation 3 game, although in the past I have done iOS off my phone. We might do the odd one off that. Now continuously, well, I say continuously, enough times people say, why don't you do the Commodore 64? And the only reason I don't is because I don't know the subject matter. I might have said this before. And sometimes you'll get comments after you reviewed a game, which would happen in this case, is, did you ever own a Commodore 64? Because they disagree with my opinion, and I'd have to say no. So that wouldn't be very good. So never say never, but I'll probably stick to what I'm doing at the moment. If I get any time available, because I have none, I've said I'll try and get MAME working. In the comment section, Jamie Williamson and Daniel Cordell have given me tips of what to download. So I'll probably have a go at that. I've copied and pasted those comments, so I might do that if I get the time available, because arcade games are cool. Interghost. He says, would you like to live through the 80s again, or are you happy with life these days? Would I like to live through the 80s? Would I like to live through the 80s? No. Life's okay now. I like the 80s. I was a kid back then. You didn't have any worries. But would I like to live through them? No. Some of the fashions were terrible. There was no laptops or anything like that. A phone weighed the same weight as 6 elephants. I'd like bank interest rates to be what they were in the 80s, so I'd get something off my ISA. But no, I wouldn't like to go back to the 80s. Alright, this is a tricky one. Kiss, marry or kill? Okay. Number 1, Lara Croft. Well, she had a number of guises. If you've seen my Tomb Raider blundering videos, the first one, she looked a bit basic. Lara Croft, I think she'd kill me at some point, wouldn't she? With Lara Croft, we'll go for... Mind you, she's quite rich. If she was to die on one of her missions, controlled by someone as bad, yeah. Alright then, marry Lara Croft, just for the money. I'm shallow, I'll admit it. She'll probably kill me though at some point. Princess Toadstool, kiss, marry or kill? She's sometimes called Peach, isn't she, from those Super Mario games and Mario Kart in particular. I'd probably kill her. Sorry girl. Yes, she's too candy-ish for me. She'd get on my nerves, I'd be ill. And we wouldn't look good in a photo together, I'd look terrible. So we'd kill her. Princess Daphne from Dragon's Lair. She's a little bit slutty, isn't she? I'd kill her as well. So 2 kills and a marriage, that isn't bad going. Princess Leia, I probably would have married her as well and kissed, but not killed. Okay. Page 2. Yeah, there's loads of questions going on. Right, Daniel Cordell. Spectrum games wise, what is your preferred revision? 16K, 48K or the 128K? Also, if you'd like to pick one of the wild cards of similar hardware. So there were lots of similar systems around at the time, like the Spectrum, but the Spectrum seemed to win out, I think. I did have a 16K Spectrum, but that was after, weirdly enough, I had a 48K Spectrum, so I don't know what was going on there. Maybe we found it somewhere. But it'd have to be the old 48K rubber keyed keyboard. That picture is a ZX Spectrum Plus 2, I think, 48K. But I like the 48K rubber keyboard. I'd pick that over anything else. 128K was good, but it doesn't have the nostalgia charm for me. I don't get that oomph feeling about it. Now there was a couple of other computers that didn't take off at all, which I would have liked to have owned to have a look at. There's the Auric 1 and some weird piece of machinery called the Jupiter Ace. Don't know if any of you got that. If you did, comment below. What did the Jupiter Ace, what could that do? If indeed I'm getting the name right. I said on the previous Q&A I'd like the Vector X. That would be a good system to own, but that's in a different category to this completely. Right, back. Jamie Williamson with some more questions. Rhubarb or custard? Whose side were you on? Now, rhubarb and custard isn't a dessert. Well, it is, but a particularly bad one. Rhubarb and Custard was a cartoon from the 70s and 80s, written by Grange Calverley and narrated by Richard Briers. It contained a dog called Rhubarb, I think, and a mischievous cat called Custard who kept trying to muck stuff up all the time. Quite charming animation, a cracking soundtrack if you want to YouTube the theme music of that. Be my guest, but it'll probably be in your head for ages, so you probably won't get it out. Whose side was you on? Rhubarb, he was a sensible one, or Custard? Well, there's no room for sensible, is there? So let's go for Custard out of those two. The cat. Rhubarb. Did he used to sound like that? He might have done. Jamie, mid-80s... Right, this is a fighting one. Mid-80s Stallone, early 90s Arnie, or current day Statham? Who would win a fight? 80s Stallone. Well, you know, I'm biased towards Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnie would kick their butts, wouldn't he? He's the best one in Expendables, only the little time he was in. I'd like to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he's got the voice. Well, Stallone's got a weird voice as well. Arnold. 100% Arnold. Although he did call me an asshole in a previous Q&A. But anyway, I won't hold that against him. Back to Kingston LJ. Did you buy a lot of budget games for your Spectrum as a kid? If so, did you judge whether to buy a game by how appealing the box art was? Yeah, definitely. I was a kid. That was what I judge everything on. As I told you on the Spectrum days, I didn't even buy the magazines. Yeah, totally. And I made some absolute terrible decisions. I made some good ones as well. I mean, good games I bought off budget, just from my memory, is Finders Keepers, and one of the other ones from the series. It might have been Spellbound, I'm not sure. Terrible ones, Jack and the Beanstalk. That cover lured me in. I think I'd just seen a pantomime, and Jack and the Beanstalk is terrible. I keep meaning to do my worst games of all time. Jack and the Beanstalk might be number one, I'm not sure. I've viewed a few stinkers since that point, but probably that. Some good question here from Long Ron von Huggington. He told me, well, he sent me a lot of games to the channel, which I'm in the process of reviewing still, so thank you. That's really, really generous of you. But also asked a question which must be asked, and it's a dodgy one that could get me into trouble. Being a similar age, we watch the same era of TV. Yeah, well, we're on okay ground so far. Are you gutted, as I am, to find out most of the people that entertained us are now convicted nonces? Your thoughts? That's just a collection of noises. That isn't really an answer. Well, Jimmy Savile springs to mind, although he's not convicted. Jim Will Fix It was a show I used to watch, and we know he's fixing the whole time. Then there was Rolf Harris, the most recent one. I don't know what was going on back then. They must have had a terrible green room that was based in hell. But I don't know about you, when Rolf Harris was announced as what he done, which we won't go into great detail, I just couldn't believe it. I thought that's ridiculous. And yeah, I'm absolutely shocked, Long Rod. There's very few. Richard Hall from It's a Knockout as well. Let's move on. Let's move on. What a terrible bunch they were. We trusted them and they let us down badly. Gordon the Gopher's okay though. He hasn't been convicted yet, so he's okay. So he's the only one. Ed the Duck, not so sure. Okay, back to Into Ghost. I always want to say Rent a Ghost when I say that. That was a good show, wasn't it? No question about Rent a Ghost this time. Maybe you can ask one about that. But Into Ghost asked, do you think Sinclair should make a comeback with a console? And if so, do you think they should release their own... Mustn't keep doing that over the light. Do you think they should release their old games or compete with next-gen consoles? Oh, ignoring the Vega. That was going to be my answer about the Vega. The Spectrum Vega, that's coming out soon, although this isn't part of the answer. And for what I think miles too much money, about £99 or something. Well, Steve Benway told me on Twitter it's about £99, but I think it should be about 30 odd, shouldn't it? Something like that. Well, it's a plug and play game where you can play all the ZX Spectrum games through your TV. But this question isn't about that. Should Sinclair make a comeback of a console? No, I think that era's done. I mean, Sinclair for me. I don't think a console will be good as the games on the PS4 or Xbox One, will they? And if they're going to release a console and produce ZX Spectrum games in their old format, it's all about attracting new audiences, and I can't see any new audiences new to gaming without the nostalgia of that would actually buy it. So I don't think so. I think that would bankrupt them. What I'd like to see Sinclair bring back though, which might also bankrupt them, is the Sinclair C5. That was an electric car which was the future of driving, but wasn't really. Okay. Right, normally that would be the end, but we got more questions. I haven't really set up these lights very well, have I? Let's do a bit of shadow everywhere. Dearie me. Anyway, as I said before to Andy at the start, your videos can only get better the more you make. And then again, they might not do. Right, Retro Rambles. Questions keep coming thick and fast. I don't know how long we've been going so far. Right, what's your favourite gaming genre? I like sports games. Not me, he does. He likes sport games, especially different ones such as Xeno on the ZX Spectrum. Don't think I played that one. I might have done and can't remember. Favourite genre games? Well, I play my computers mainly when I come home from work and I'm knackered and I don't want to think too much, so I fit quite easily into the genre of racing games, of which there are many. I love the Need for Speed series, although when I was putting them up I did get done for some copyright trademark infringement, so I don't do too many of those. But racing games are my favourite genre. On the Amiga days I did like a lot of football games, but racing games and the occasional shoot 'em up as well, that has to win the day. And now Lee asks from Retro Rambles, do you still read comics? I don't. Not me, him. I don't, but I am a subscriber to Viz and Retro Gamer and enjoy reading them on the bus. See, the problem with reading stuff on the bus is, as I used to read novels, I'm digressing again, I used to read novels downloaded to my phone on the bus, and I'll be reading it on the small screen. Before I know it, I've missed my bus stop and have to walk miles back, or get on the other side of the road and get another bus. So it's pretty dodgy. Do I still read comics? Not really. I suppose I should read more. There's a few I've been meaning to get into, but it's not really. I haven't got the time, but I should do. Comics don't take long to read, do they? Jamie Williamson asks if you still read comics. Graphic novels. Oh no, on brackets. Following on from Retro Rambo's question, not Retro Rambo. Retro Rambo's question. What are your favourites? Have you read the excellent Fables series? Well, no, not really. I occasionally at Christmas read a Simpsons comic. Does that count? But there's some cool Predator comics I've seen, and Aliens, and maybe I should, but not at the moment. I remember as a kid actually having this really great comic of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I think my gerbils ate it in the end. They were quite troublesome. That'd probably be worth a lot of money if it was intact, but I think it ended up as pulp. But that was a fantastic one. So Indiana Jones, that was cool. Jamie is almost afraid to ask this one. Exactly how did Igor, he's that mad high-pitched dwarf from the Random Wednesday question, how did he enter your life and what did you do in a past life to deserve him? In brackets, Igor, we love you, man. I think I may have touched this on a previous one. Igor saw my channel was struggling and just turned up from some ultimate dimension and a big fanfare of explosions and dust and more explosions, and now suddenly he's a part of the show. He just features in Random Wednesday questions at the moment, and occasionally in some around the 2-week roundup, but he might end up, if this Q&A ever finishes, which questions keep coming in, so it probably won't. If this keeps coming in, we might do an occasional podcast. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, as I say, if you have any other questions, if you want to post them below, I always copy and paste them into a file document, and then we tackle them each time. Can be about absolutely anything you want. Doesn't have to be about me. Doesn't have to be about computers. It doesn't have to be about the planet Pluto, or it could be if you want. You could ask anything. Except ballet. I'm not good on ballet. Kingston LJ. Oh, we're getting quite close to the end now. Kingston LJ, which... Can't read my own writing. Oh yeah, which one is the best? Debbie Gibson, Kim Wilde, or Samantha Fox? These are 80s singers, aren't they? We're back to the 80s again. Yeah, 80s. These are all singers, I presume, when you say which one's best, not like which one you'd like to kiss, marry, or kill. I'd go for Kim Wilde. She was, I like her. We're the Kids in America, that was one of her songs, wasn't it? Ooh, we're the kids in America, ooh. Yeah, that was bad. Kim Wilde, Kingston, that's my answer. And now, the very last question of Q&A 6. Bom, bom, bom. Bom. Who is the scariest? Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, or Jason Voorhees? I was never that scared of Freddy Krueger. He always made me laugh. I'm not sure that was the intention. If he turned up in a nightmare dream I was having, I'd probably give him a bit more respect. But Michael Myers, the one that scared me the most, Jason Voorhees. He had that hockey mask of doom, and he just turned up anywhere. I think Michael Myers did that as well. But yeah, Jason Voorhees is the most scariest. But not as scary as Jar Jar Binks though from episode 1 of Star Wars. If anyone was going to turn up in my house unannounced, I'd prefer Jason Voorhees over Jar Jar Binks. So there we go. I hope I've answered all your questions accordingly. Some I answered a bit better than others. So that's the end of Q&A 6. Thanks for watching as always. Remember, if you have any questions for me, don't be shy, put them below. And till next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.